everybody, and today we'll be looking at Barry Burton. He was featured in games such as Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 5 as a playable character, Mercenary Ops 3D, and Resident Evil Revelations 2, I believe. But Barry Burton was probably one of the hallmark characters, easily recognizable for his .44 Magnum. Now, we're going to get into the finer details of Barry and his life. So let's begin with his biography. Background. Before 1998, Barry was an airman in the United States Air Force, serving in the same unit as Chris Redfield, who he became good friends with. Barry later left the Air Force and joined the recently formed STARS, where he was employed his vast knowledge of weaponry. Chris was eventually discharged from the force and began drifting. Barry met up with Chris and managed to talk him into joining STARS. He has a loving wife, Kathy, and 2 daughters, one named Maura and another named Polly. When he came to Raccoon City to join STARS, he became friends with the gun shop owner, Robert Kendo. The two were close friends and often went fishing together in Stoneville. Due to their friendship, Barry commissioned Robert's brother Joe to modify most of the STARS arsenal, which included their sidearms, the iconic samurai edge. Barry had it especially modified to fire 40 Smith & Wesson. Alright, now we move on to his role in the mansion incident. After the confrontation with Cerberus, Barry managed to escape into the Spencer mansion along with a fellow Alpha team member, Chris Redfield, Albert Wesker, and Jill Valentine. Afterward, he helped Jill overcome several obstacles in the mansion, including traps and creatures. However, Wesker, who was actually a spy and working for Umbrella, blackmailed Barry into doing his bidding by using his family as leverage. Barry began to eliminate any evidence that implicated Wesker and began luring Jill into traps against monsters. It was because of that Barry was able to track down, that Wesker was able to track down Enrico and murder him. While in the lab, Wesker reveals his control over Barry and has him once pull a gun on Jill after revealing that there is a threat against Barry's family. It was a bluff. Barry knocks Wesker out with his gun. Jill, Chris, and Barry, Wesker, and Rebecca Chambers subsequently escaped the mansion. Now we will go into the Raccoon City incident. After the mansion incident, Barry immediately moved his family to Canada, out of Umbrella's reach in order to ensure their safety. He then left them to rejoin Chris and Jill in their anti-Umbrella efforts. During the T-virus outbreak when Raccoon City was facing annihilation, he took a civilian helicopter in order to locate Jill and extract her from the city. Barry came into contact with an Umbrella biohazard countermeasure services mercenary named Carlos Oliveira, who was assisting Jill amid the chaos, and was able to locate Jill in time to rescue both her and Carlos before a missile attack destroyed Raccoon City. Afterwards, Jill and Barry participated in undisclosed anti-Umbrella operations until Umbrella shut down by the U.S. government. After Umbrella's shutdown, Barry decided to stay out of the anti-bioterrorism activities as much as he could to take care of his family, which he also tried to prevent their involvement in. At some point after this, Barry discovered that Maura had accidentally shot Polly while playing in the house, which led them to growing distant as a result. The island incident, this would be, I'm gonna guess, the Resident Evil Revelations portion. This was 2009. Around 2009, after the Kijiju Autonomous Zone incident, Chris and Barry had finally had time to catch up. It was around this time that Chris had requested Barry to join the BSAA. Eventually, Barry became an advisor to the organization on combat consultation and training young generations of soldiers alongside Chris to become the future of the BSAA. He also became friends with Chris's younger sister, Claire Redfield. When they met each other is due to her friendship with his older daughter, Moira, and later becomes a mentor to the Redfield siblings. In 2011, Moira wanted to join TerraSafe, but Barry denied her and told her not to get involved. Moira joined the organization anyway and was abducted. After the incident, Barry manages to rescue Claire after it is revealed that she and his daughter, Moira, were taken to an island, after which he rushed her to the hospital, trying to wake her up. Claire later opened her eyes as she was happened to Moira only to be stopped by a doctor. She was immediately taken inside an intensive care unit. Barry becomes upset after hearing what has happened to his daughter. Refusing to accept that his daughter's dead, Barry tries his best to gather as much information as he could about the island and preparing to look for his daughter. 6 months later, Barry was able to intercept an SOS message sent by Moira, and believing it to be a recent transmission, he was determined to go to the island and find the coordinates. Arriving at the island, he met a young girl named Natalia Corda. Barry initially asked Natalia to stay behind in the boat, but she refused and insisted to go. He had no choice but to take her with him. Barry soon found Natalia had a special ability to detect the presence of enemies, as well as items to aid him in his investigation. By the time they arrived at the radio tower, he'd heard Moira and Claire's voice on the radio, which he stated they were heading west to Warsack. Made approximately 6 months ago, however, much to Barry's shock, Natalia claims that Moira was deceased while suffering from a severe headache. Natalia shows Barry the tower where Claire and Moira went to 6 months ago, and the two traveled together. Barry is told by Natalia she was present during the Terra Grigia panic, and it was around that time that she lost her parents and was rescued by Neil Fisher, a senior TerraSafe member. Barry also discovered deceased TerraSafe member Edward Thomas and battles a mutilated member named Pedro Fernandez, which Claire and Moira fought before. This brings up a memory in Barry's mind where he expressed his concern to Moira regarding the dangers of working in the front lines against bioterrorism. They make it to the now ruined tower, where it is filled with candles and photographs. Amongst the scattered objects is a painting of Albert Resker and a blonde woman. Natalia becomes afraid by merely looking at the painting and identifies the woman as Alex Wesker. Barry is confused and dismayed to hear her name, but before he can ask Natalia any further, a female's laughter is heard and a mysterious cloaked figure approaches them, pointing its fingers towards Natalia. Wesker's legacy. The feminine creature reveals itself as Alex Wesker, living in a monstrous form. A short conversation follows shortly as Alexa claims to have murdered Moira, and as she summons several remnants to kill Natalia, Barry escorts her out by shooting the building's frail structure and collapsing it on the revenants. With no more reason to search for more, Barry changes his objective to take Natalia out of the island safely. On their way to the sewers, they found Evigency Rubik's corpse. Evigency, I can't quite say his name. In the house at the sewers were both both Moira and Claire encountered him 6 months ago. Around the premises is Moira's cell phone with the recording made by her 6 months ago. Barry angrily clenches his fist knowing Alex did hurt his daughter and decided to protect Natalia from Alex. Barry resumes his journey across the island, unaware that Alex stalks them all along the way. Alex found an opening to launch a surprise attack on him, throwing him into a gorge and capturing Natalia. However, Natalia's second personality appeared briefly, scaring Alex away. Destroying the bloodlines. Barry regains consciousness and reunites with Natalia, willing to exact revenge for Moira's death. Barry and Natalia head to Alex's secret laboratory, located deep within the island's mines. As they travel deeper, Alex begins to taunt Natalia, intending to discourage her. Alex went further by ripping Natalia's doll apart and nailing it to a wall for her to see. Confronting her in the lab, Barry discovers Alex already injected a vial of Ouroboros virus into herself. He battles the tentacle-consumed Alex to protect Natalia until Alex collapses. However, Alex is actually playing dead and immediately springs to life to knock him out and seizes Natalia before he can do anything. Moira appears and uses a handgun to stun the monster Alex, saving Natalia from being crushed. Barry's reunion with his daughter is short-lived as monster Alex uses her tentacles to mutate even further. She is chased to 3 of the seaside cliffs at first, and it seems that all is lost until Claire Redfield arrives with a helicopter just in time. Claire shoots Alex right on her vulnerable spot, much to Moira's amusement. However, the monster Alex is not finished yet. Taking a stand between his daughter and the beast, Barry once again fights Alex with Claire's assistance. After dealing enough damage to Alex, Barry instructs Claire to fire an RPG-7 towards Alex's weak point, to which Claire successfully does. As they leave the island, the BSA are sending more troops to the island. The Burtons express their relief after what had happened. Barry understands that he, as a father, should give Moira a little more space in the world. He then decides to adopt Natalia as his own child. Post-island incident. In 2013, after the incident, Barry returns to being a good father to his children at his home in Canada, where he is getting prepared before Claire's arrival in his home. He asks Polly where his jacket is, whilst the television watched earlier broadcast a news report of global bioterror attacks perpetrated by Neo Umbrella. Okay guys, that's it for now. I'm sorry it's a little bit shorter, but these other characters don't have a whole lot of backstory to them. Basically, it's the more games they've participated in, the more backstory they have. So, I'm going to start doing a couple of characters in one sitting, just so it's not so much, or just so it's not so short. But anyway, thank you for listening. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.